All right guys, welcome back to the garage. Today, working on my Forester. Now I'm sorry Mopar guys, like I've explained before, the channel is anything I'm working on in the garage. And this time it's my Forester. But don't worry, the Charger's coming back. I'm just waiting on stuff to show up. Now this is a 2011 Forester. These were the 09 to 13 model years, also known as an SH Forester. And basically what I got is a set of struts from an SJ, which is the 14 to 18 Forester. Now, why am I putting SJ struts and stuff on my Forester? Well, the main thing is in 2014, when they came out with the SJs, the valving and the shocks and then the spring rates were way better. More like a modern car. These are very soft. And putting these on an SH Forester will make it ride so much better. So that's the main reason. Now, there's a lot of discrepancy about people claiming that SJ stuff on an SH Forester will actually lift it a little bit. So we're gonna find out. Now, the general opinion is people go out and buy like quick struts, brand new assemblies, and put them on their SH Forester, and then that raises them. And the idea there is you're replacing worn out struts with brand new stuff, and that's why you're getting a lift. So these are OEM takeoffs. They have some mileage on them. So this is the best case scenario as far as comparison. I'll measure just to see if we get any lift out of these, but I could care less if there's lift. I just want the better ride quality is all. That should be a straightforward swap. This does have almost 200,000 miles on it, but it's super minty underneath. So everything should come apart super easy. Won't have to deal with any rusty suspension. So let's get started. All right, before measurement in the front, I got 30.5 inches from the ground to the wheel well. And in the rear, I got 30.75 from the ground to the wheel well. So let's start with the front. I'll get the front jacked up and the wheels off, and I'll show you how to replace these. Super simple. All right, so the only real difference between the struts is the way this ABS line bolts up. You see on this one, there's no provision for a bolt. It's just a hole. So we'll have to figure out something there, whether it's a nut and bolt or something. Something to note, this upper bolt should be a cam bolt. So just like on this one, you see how there's a lobe. That's how you adjust camber. It's just a little bit of an adjustment. We want to make sure we mark these bolts to put them back to exactly the same way. At least it'll be close enough to get to an alignment. Now, these are already marked. So must have been from the previous alignment, but I'll go ahead and mark them again so that these bolts go in the exact same way. Other than that, you got 12mm bolts for your brake lines. And then these are 19s. Now when you loosen these, you want to hold the head and remove the nut. Then up top, 12mm nuts for the strut mount, and that's it. It'll slide right out of there. So I'm gonna mark these again, just for peace of mind. We'll go right over the marks that are already there. Okay, now let's get these brake lines removed. All right, now the lower strut bolts. Remember to hold the head of the bolt and just loosen the nut. All right, switching to a breaker bar. Now this upper bolt might be tricky to get out just because of that cam in the middle there. So it might help by twisting it. There it goes. And there you go. See how it has that cam on there? That just gives you a little bit of camber adjustment. Okay, now this whole knuckle is going to want to swing forward. So make sure your brake lines are free and just wiggle it out like that. Try to make sure it doesn't put too much pressure on your lines. Now we can go to the top. All right, 312mm. Now when you undo the last one, hold the strut because it's going to want to fall. Okay, there's the two struts side by side. You can see the major difference is the way this ABS line mounts. There's a nut welded to this one, and this one is a clip style. So we'll just throw a nut on the back and it should be fine. But overall, they're the same dimensions. It's just the SJ should have better valving and spring rates than the old SH stuff. Okay, as far as the camber bolts, you see on the SH, the mark is right on this indentation. Same thing, there's that indentation on there. So there's my marked bolt right there. So when I put it back together, we'll make sure that line lines up just like that. And hopefully that'll get us close. Now, I have read that some people say that with the SJ stuff, that there's too much positive camber for some reason, and then this bolt alone won't adjust it all out. So that may require an aftermarket bolt that has more adjustment in it, but we'll see. This should be close enough. And if it needs more, we'll deal with that later. Now, I did mark this bolt, but it doesn't really matter because it's just a regular bolt, no cam on it, so it should be able to go in anyway. All right, we're gonna slide this back up there. I'm gonna hold it up there and throw a nut on it just to hold it. Now we'll go ahead and get the lower bolt in. And then we get our upper bolt. And then we'll turn this upper bolt till it lines back up with that mark that I made, and then the mark on the strut. Right there. Right there should be good. The upper cam bolt does have a washer that goes in this side. Lower bolt does not. Now when you go to tighten these, I'm gonna go ahead and get the bottom one cranked down, and then we'll do the top. Obviously the top, you wanna make sure that bolt does not move. So we'll hold it the best we can, make sure it's lined up. You can see I got my mark lined right up with that mark on the strut. So it should be close. I'm gonna do a brake line. Okay, for the ABS line, like I said, there's no nut for the hardware to bolt into. On the newer cars, this is gonna be just a clip. So we're going to have to manipulate this a little bit to get that ABS line to fit. Now it wants to put a little tension on the line here. Obviously the slack needs to be on this side of the strut from here to here. This length should not change as the wheel turns. This is where you want your slack. But that's still a little too much tension for my liking. So I'm gonna try to swing this mount out. All right, here's what I did. I basically just flattened this bracket out. And that seems to give enough slack here and enough slack here. And I'll just nut and bolt it right there. Yeah, that should be good. Plenty of slack everywhere. Now we need to torque these bolts. All right, 114 foot-pounds for these nuts. Now when you do this upper one, make sure that bolt does not turn. Now we just tighten these down. All right, that's the front. Obviously repeat on the other side. Now let's do the rear. All right, for the rear, first thing I did was remove all the cargo tray and the cargo cover there, because you got to get in here and pop these covers off there on that side to get to the upper strut mount bolts. So I'll go ahead and pop those off, remove the nuts for the strut mounts, and then we'll jack up the car and do the lower portion. All right, you can see I went ahead and removed the rest of the cargo area just to have more access to these bolts. This trim cover just pops off like that. Then you have two 14mm nuts. And it looks like you'll be able to use a socket on the back one, I guess the forward one, but the rear one you'll have to use a wrench. Okay, now for the rear, you need to undo the sway bar link, which is a 14 bolt and nut, lower shock bolt, which is a 17 bolt and nut, and lower control arm bolt, which is 17 both sides also. Then we'll swing this arm down and drop the strut out. All right, with those 3 bolts loose, should be able to swing this arm down and slide the strap out. Just like that. All right, there's the rears. The SJ does look a tad longer than the SH, but overall the same, and they are not side specific, so no worries about that. So let's slide this one in. Okay, I lied. It's not that they're side specific, but the top hat does have a slight clock to it compared to the mount. So the mounts are straight, but the upper top hats, they have a slight angle to them. So you can see the difference there. Those two match. This one is clocked a different way, so that goes to the driver's side. Just a note. Okay, I think my plan is, as far as reassembly, I'm going to do the shock bolt, sway bar bolt, and then lift the control arm up to meet the hub. If I try to do this bolt first, it's going to make it near impossible to get that lower strut mount to line up with this hole, because it's going to want to compress the spring. All right, now we'll wait to tighten all those until get the car down on the ground. That way there's a load on the suspension, then we can tighten all those, because all those go through a rubber bushing, and if we tighten them now, they could tear. So we want the car at ride height before we tighten all those. So let me go knock out the other side and we'll get everything tightened. All right, you can see I got it down on ramps just so I can have a load on the suspension before I tighten all these bolts, and same over there. Unfortunately, this inner control arm bolt is going to have to be done by hand, but I can impact those and be done. So let me knock this out, and then should be ready to pull out of the garage. Of course, don't forget your upper strut mount nuts on both sides. Get all your plastics back together, and then that should do it for the strut swap. All right, that's it. Pretty easy swap. Now, everything came apart real easy because no rust on this thing. So you may have noticed in the back, the suspension had a nice shiny fluid on it. Basically all that was I coated the suspension with some fluid film, just protect it in the winter, try to keep the rust off of it. Now I know some of you guys probably are from areas where there's no rust. Well, here in Indiana, finding stuff that's not rusty, very hard. So I'm trying to keep this not rusty. That's why I sprayed it down with some fluid film. All right, so I'm gonna take this for a drive, get some miles on it, and we'll pull it right back in here and measure to see if we gained any height at all, just for curiosity. But I'm really anxious to feel how the car rides. So we'll be right back. All right, just put a few miles on it and just did another measurement, and you can see there afterwards 30 7/8. So almost a half an inch in the front, but still, it could settle a little bit more. As far as the rear goes, right at 31, so a 1/4 inch in the back. Again, it might settle more. So is there really lift? Barely. Now obviously there's a lot of variables when it comes to if it's lifting it or not. I mean, this has almost 200,000 miles on it. I'm not sure what the mileage is on those SJ struts that I put on it, but they're definitely lower mileage than what's on here. So the main thing is it rides way better. It's stiffer, but in a more comfortable way, if that makes sense. More like a modern car, like you would want. It absorbs the bumps, and then that's it. Whereas before, it was kind of floaty. And I don't think the stock struts were bad on this. The shocks weren't leaking or anything like that. So it's just a change in model years. The SJs got way better dampening in the struts, and the springs had better rates. It's just what it is. So any of you SH Forester owners looking to upgrade or just replace suspension, do the SJ stuff. Makes it ride way better. But that's gonna do it for this one. We should get back to Charger stuff. I'm just waiting on stuff to show up is all. So this is a little something different for the Subaru guys. So I appreciate everybody for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.